Did you guys watch that Thursday night game? Holy crap. What's up, Fin fans? So, it's Friday, and you know what that means. It means breaking down the Dolphins-Bills game. I got a ton of information before I even get into the 5 things the Dolphins have to do to beat the Buffalo Bills. So, without further ado, let's jump right into this crap. First things first, we've been waiting, what, 13 weeks now for this? Dolphins are wearing their throwbacks for the next 2 games, against the Bills and against the Patriots. I'm not going to say anything about winning, I'm not going to say anything about anything like that, but I'm very happy they were in the throwbacks. And a lot of you guys want them to permanently go to the throwbacks, which I do too. But the way I thought about it, and they even said this, and I'm like, kind of makes sense, is that when they wear their throwbacks, it's special. It's really special. So what I said to one of you guys on Twitter was, I would actually prefer them to go back to the 2000s logo, this logo, and have these still be their throwbacks. So instead of having those orange jerseys, which I also would like to see them wear again, they would have the 2000s logo, and then their throwbacks would still be their throwbacks. But again, next 2 games, Bills, Patriots, they're wearing their throwbacks. I'm super pumped about that. Next, I'm going to talk about this real quick. I'm going to get it out there because I don't like talking about ex-players but Jordan Phillips, he's on the Buffalo Bills. He's their defensive tackle. I don't even know if he's a starter. I know he hasn't contributed barely anything with the Buffalo Bills. He is saying that when the Buffalo Bills, there's an article. Barry Jackson made an article. I'm going to link it below in the comment, not the comment section, in the info section. But he said that when Dolphin players leave Miami, they do much better. And that's true for a few cases, right? With Wes Welker, that's true. But if you do look at players that have left Miami, not all of them do better when they leave. Olivier Vernon isn't doing better, and Ndamukong Suh actually isn't doing better. But again, with Ndamukong Suh, the season's still going on, but he's still not ranked, you know, as great. Jarvis Landry, I know again the season's not over, it's 1 season, but still his averages and stuff aren't the same. So for Jordan Phillips to say that when Dolphin players leave Miami they do better, that's not necessarily true. So I just want to talk about that. He's going to be there. People think that he is going to be disruptive, he's going to change the game, he's going to sack TANNEHILL, he's going to point at Gase on the side, all this stuff. I don't think Jordan Phillips is going to be a factor. Jordan Phillips is lazy. Jordan Phillips gives up on plays. Jordan Phillips has no drive. He only has drive when his contract's on the line or when someone calls him out on his shit. So a lot of you guys were like, we shouldn't have got rid of him. I'm indifferent. Because if you're still here with us, he wouldn't be playing every down and he wouldn't give it his all every down and he probably would still cost us games. But that's here and there. Let's get to the next thing I have to say, which is Isaiah Ford was called up from the practice squad to the 53-man roster, which is very big. If you guys remember, he was doing really well in the offseason and training camp and OTAs and stuff. He's got speed. He's a good wide receiver. I want to see him get utilized. So now we have Butler and we have Isaiah Ford, Carew, Danny Amendola, Kenny Stills, Devontae Parker. We got 6 wide receivers on here because our wide receivers are dropping like flies. So I'm very interested to see if they use him on Sunday and how they use him on Sunday. Don't be surprised if they kind of use him like Albert Wilson on crossing patterns, dump off, stuff like that. So look out. And some injury news and notes. Danny Amendola didn't practice at all, but was working with trainers on the sideline one-on-one, so he didn't work with his team. Adam Gase said he is vertically running. He's fine vertically, but it's the lateral stuff, side to side, planting with his knee that he's worried about. So he's a game time decision. Swanson didn't practice today. He also said he's a wait and see game time decision. I don't feel like Swanson's going to play. I feel like Amendola has a chance, but the fact that we brought up Ford is like, maybe he won't play, maybe they'll rest him so he doesn't get injured anymore. I don't see Swanson playing. just because he didn't practice at all today, and they'll probably take Brendel and put him at center and have, you know, Ted Larson at guard, and I think that's what they'll do. Devontae Parker and Kenyon Drake, they're both banged up. They both wore red jerseys, but both are expected to play. But again, with Kenyon Drake, don't expect him to have a high amount of carries, especially with his bum shoulder. They'll probably use him in critical situations where they need big plays. That is what's going on with the injuries. That is what's going on with the team right now. Let's get into my 5 things the Miami Dolphins have to do to beat the Buffalo Bills. I'm gonna jump right into it. Number 1, you guys should know this. Everyone should know this. You need to stop the run. We need to limit LaShawn McCoy. We need to make sure that the Bills are now focused on passing. Make sure that they are now a one-dimensional offense, because then the Dolphins don't, in the defensive end, and don't have to like do that half step to be like, play action. Okay, wait, is it a run? Okay, now I can just full speed at the quarterback. So they need to stop the run. That's what kills this team all the time. They killed the Indianapolis Colts game. Those plays where Andrew Luck marched right down the field and scored touchdowns, he barely passed. It was handoffs, and Mac would just blow off 15-15, and then all of a sudden they're in the red zone, and then he would just dink it off to the tight end, because we can't cover a tight end if our life depended on it. I think that also has to intertwine with the defensive line. Everything has to do with the lines. So the defensive line, if they could have got pressure, if they could have sacked Luck a bunch of times, he wouldn't have time to wait for these tight ends to get open. I think that's with every team. You got to sack and get to the quarterback. But that's not about running the ball, but I just wanted to say that. So next thing Dolphins have to do is they need to convert on 3rd downs and need to score in the red zone. With the Colts game, they were 36% efficient on their 3rd downs, which isn't great. You want to be 50% or more, but the Colts also were 33% efficient on their 3rd down, so it kind of like the defense was kind of helping out the offense. But they have to convert on 3rd downs and stay on the field and score in the red zone. We had 24 points against the Colts. Everyone felt good, and then the defense shit the bed. But then also, there was a chain of events. I've talked about this many times. There was a chain of events with the Colts game, with the penalty, then Perry taking it out, and then the holding call that wasn't called on Branch. So convert on 3rd down, score in the red zone. The 3rd thing the Dolphins need to do is they need to get at Josh Allen, and they need to pressure him, they need to blitz him, they need to confuse him. The Dolphins have been really well at facing rookie quarterbacks, especially Adam Gase. A lot of people think that Josh Allen is really hot right now and doing great things and single-handedly won them games and stuff, which, yeah, but then you gotta look at him throughout the season. He's not as great as people make him out to be. He's got a 65.2 passer rating. 52.5% of his passes are completed. He's thrown for 141 yards a game, and he has 3 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's been sacked 21 times in 6 games he played. 21 times. So, and most of those are when it comes to the blitz. So, you need to, for one, stop the run. Because the fact that he's only had 141 yards a game, that goes back to the number 1 thing: stop the run and put it in Josh Allen's hands. And the Dolphins can win this game. But look at this, he's 65.2 passer rating. He completes just a little bit over half of his passes, and he gets sacked constantly. You gotta get in his face, you gotta blitz him, you gotta confuse him, and you gotta make him throw turnovers. The Dolphins are ranked, I think, 2nd or 1st in the NFL in interceptions. Xavier Howard is 2nd. If this man doesn't make the Pro Bowl, this shit is rigged. Number 4, we gotta protect Ryan Tannehill. Like, you guys want him to throw it down the field, and you want him to sling it. Like, I'm so done with these 5-yard passes and stuff. But you gotta, and I say this to myself, I'm not just saying this to you guys, I say this to myself all the time. The NFL shows this. The 2 lines, the quarterback, linebackers. They show about 10, 15 yards on the screen. We have no idea what's going on up here. Also, if the dude can't plant his feet and check and look around, he can't throw the ball. Like, the games where he played great, the games where he threw the ball deep and constantly was hitting people left and right, he had time. But there's also games where he took big hits and launched it. So I showed video of that, I'm not gonna show it again, but there are times. But we need to protect him, not only to give him time to throw the ball, not only to give him time to let plays develop, but because he's not 100% healthy. He takes too many hits on that shoulder, because he took a couple of hits on that shoulder in the Colts game. He might get knocked out. And I know a lot of you guys are like, good, we want to tank, or good, he sucks, but that's not my mindset. I think with Ryan Tannehill in there, we have a chance of winning a good amount of games. I thought we were going to lose we were definitely going to lose the Vikings game, but after watching the Cowboys beat the Saints, it's like anything could happen. And my last thing that the Dolphins need to do to beat the Buffalo Bills is they need to stop the penalties. I feel like with the Colts game, if they would have just stopped with the dumb penalties, I think they would have won by more. Their penalties kill drives, especially in the first half, especially in the first quarter. False start, false start, false start, and just making these long distance second downs and first downs. It's like, stop with the penalties. Just be more disciplined. Like, it drives me nuts that the Dolphins were that penalized. You can't put yourself in a good situation and then have a roughing the passer, having an unnecessary roughness, which then pin them into their own end zone, which then Snorris Perry took the ball at. You can't have all these holding calls on big plays. You can't have all these false starts on short down yardage. Kill drives, or you let the other offense drive that you ended continue, and then you kill momentum. Gotta limit the penalties. How about none? Zero. We have 0 penalties this game, we'll win. It is what it is. You can't let these penalties dictate a game. Especially with these refs who don't call penalties. Like the branch hold and the like, you can't rely on penalties and you can't commit penalties. Plain and simple. So that's the 5 things that I think the Dolphins need to do to beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, normally at this time I give you my score predictions, so I honestly think the Dolphins will do better. The Bills defense does worry me because it's a good defense. It's not a shit defense. They will stop the Dolphins, and I think the Dolphins will stop their offense. I honestly think it'll be a nice, even back and forth game. I think the Dolphins will win 2014. That's my score prediction, a 2014 win. Comment below. Let me know what you guys think the Dolphins need to do to beat the Bills. If I missed anything, let me know what you think of the 5 things I said. I know I'm going to have a ton of Buffalo Bill fans in here. So why don't you guys tell me 5 things the Bills need to do to beat the Dolphins? Speaking of comments, let's get to your comment of the day. This one comes from my video where I'm trying to break down and predict the playoff scenario for the Miami Dolphins, and then also what I think the playoff picture is going to look like for the AFC and the NFC. Obviously, I'm off to a very bad start because I thought the Cowboys were going to lose to the Saints, and they won. Again, tip of my hat to you. But this one comes from No Name, and he says, "My man, I got a serious question. Does Gesicki's blocking ability have any hope?" I've been listening to 560. I have an app, radio.com. I'm up in Jersey, but I don't like listening to Jersey radio because I hate Mike Francesa and all those guys are always bashing the Dolphins when they don't know what they're talking about half the time. So I listen to 560 so I can listen to Channing and, you know, all those great shows. And a lot of them are talking about Mike Gesicki, and a lot of them are talking about his, not his toughness as in he could take a hit and not get injured, but his toughness is in like he's a volleyball player playing football, if you get what I'm saying. Like, he doesn't want to like get in there and make the cut. He wants to catch and touchdown, like boop, a touchdown, okay, give the ball. And you can tell from the fact that he's a big ass dude and a safety popped him in the chest and he fumbled the ball. Now, it could have been that the helmet hit the ball and he didn't have it close, he had it out, but still, you're a big ass, is that happening to Gronkowski? Is that happening to Kelsey? Is that happening to Zach Ertz? And Zach Ertz and Jimmy Graham are in my mind, are kind of the same aspect of Gesicki, especially Jimmy Graham, because Jimmy Graham wasn't great at blocking, but they're tough. You know what I'm saying? So I think with Gesicki, he's having an absolutely horrible rookie season. A lot of you guys are like, well, the Dolphins aren't utilizing him enough. Well, it's not that they're not utilizing him enough. It's more of he isn't doing what they need for him to do. That's why O'Leary is getting a ton of notice. I think come his second year, he's going to be better, hopefully, because they're using a second round pick on him. We need that. but I do think that this year he needs to just learn from his mistakes, and he needs to learn football in general, and especially NFL football, and how to get open, and how to block properly, and how to not take ridiculous hits. Like every time he jumps and he gets flipped over, and like, he's still learning. So I still have hope for Gesicki, but we'll see. Only future tells. Thank you for the comment, no name. Like usual, guys, always comment below. I love talking to you guys. Follow me on Twitter. I love talking to you guys there. I'm gonna start posting more on my Instagram too, so that literally is always here for you guys. I'm always here for you guys. Go follow my second channel, The Bit Boys. I'm gonna reach right now. Hey, how you doing? Got a little bit closer. I'm filling them out. Gotta print out some things that I like to put in there, some thank yous for you guys that wanted the wristbands because you guys went and subscribed. But if you haven't, go check out The Bit Boys. If you like what you see and you subscribe, let me know, and I'll send you guys a wristband. And you might be like, well, what do they look like? Let me see if I could show you in here. They have Bit Boys on them, nice little wristbands. So if you like it, go over, check it out, subscribe. I'll send you a wristband. Give this video a thumbs up because I honestly think that the Dolphins will beat the Bills. I think they have a really good chance against the Patriots any given Sunday, guys. So they might beat the Vikings. They might beat the Vikings and lose to the Jags, you know, and then lose to the Bills again. You know, they might go on a 3-game winning streak and then lose the next 2. You never know with this team. Again, I say this all the time. I'm not for tanking. I've said in multiple videos why I'm not for tanking. So I'm always going to root for my team to win. So give a thumbs up because there's still football. We gotta enjoy it for the next 5 weeks, and then hopefully for more after that. But until then, we want to enjoy watching this team play. We only got 5 weeks left, guys. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I talk about the Dolphins, I talk about NFL, I talk about everything all week long. Sometimes I throw little surprises in there, like yesterday's video. You guys weren't expecting it, even though I kind of told you. Threw a little surprise in there. Subscribe because when the lull in the season happens, I'm going to be doing other things. I'm a filmmaker, so I'm going to be maybe throwing shorts at you, maybe throwing other things at you. You guys can suggest things for me to do. I'll throw that at you. So subscribe if you're not subscribed already. I will see you guys Sunday, hopefully after a Dolphins win, not after a very bad beat where we're up by so many points and then lose. But like usual, stay classy. Ends up.